Welcome to Anime with Annie. Today's recap will be on the series That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, from episodes 1 to 6 of Season 1. So make sure to stay tuned until the end and hit the subscribe button if you're happy with what I recapped. That said, let's get started. Episode 1. A young woman in Yakuta saw fighter jets dump bombs on a hamlet that was on fire. On the run for their lives, people. The mother was regrettably crushed by rubble as she ran for safety with the girl. Someone attempted to call someone, but it was actually the little girl. The girl was later carried to the other realm and burned in flames. Satoru Mikami considers his life in the present on a bright day and what he hasn't yet done. He had just failed to make an effort to find a partner. Later, Satoru heard Tamara, his junior at work, calling his name. Tamara presents Satoru to his new fiancée, Miho Soatari. Satoru was attacked on the street by an unknown man with a knife as the three were enjoying a lovely conversation and getting ready to go to a nearby restaurant. Satori had pulled Tamara and Miho to safety, which was fortunately safe. A strange voice can be heard while blood is gushing out of Satoru, giving him a bloodless body and diverse powers, including Predator, Great Sage, and other resistances. Only Satoru can hear the voice. It cannot be heard by anyone else in the area. Satoru Mikami asked Tamara to grant his final request, which was to erase the data on his hard disk. Satoru realizes that he's been transformed into slime when he awakens. Mikami eats hippoke herbs and gathers magic ore because he has nothing else to do while coming to terms with his condition. After 3 months, Mikami begins to develop his Great Sage abilities and acquires an odd companion in the form of a voice in his head that clarifies various things about the things he interacts with. Eventually, while learning to swim, Mikami unintentionally pushes himself into Veldora. Mikami discovers for the first time that he's transformed into a slime, and that his teacher is Veldora the Storm Dragon, as she uses magic to educate the blind slime on how to see. The hero used the magic spell Unlimited Imprisonment to imprison Veldora in the cave 300 years ago, and now he only hopes to survive for another 100 years until his diminishing magic might eventually kill him. Although there are other people in the world who have been summoned against their will and die off swiftly due to different issues, according to Veldora, Mikami is the only such being. Only Mikami has experienced reincarnation as a non-human, a slime. Some people like Mikami pass away and are reborn, although this seldom happens. The slime and the dragon eventually come to an understanding after considerable debate. Episode 2. While the slime is free to leave the cave whenever he wishes, Mikami and Veldora ponder the notion of doing so. To that aim, Mikami intends to analyze the barrier using Predator in order to devise a strategy for destroying it with the Great Sage. At the very least, Mikami will keep Veldora's depleting magic reserves in check and make sure he doesn't vanish. Veldora concurs with the proposal, but first he gives the slime the name Rimuru, and asks to give it both the last name Tempest. To his dismay, the newly named Rimuru, Tempest discovers that he can no longer converse with the dragon after eating him. Various countries and monsters have been rushing to investigate and profit since the dragon vanished at the same moment. Instead, a group of explorers dispatched to look into Veldora's jail helped Rimuru ultimately locate a route out of the cave. Rimuru learns to swim and uses a water blade throughout the following month, consumes a wide variety of various beasts, and continues to deplete the cave supplies. After finding his way out of the cave, Rimuru ultimately meets up with some goblins. The goblins explain that several monsters have moved into the forest in an effort to stake their claim since their guardian deity, Veldora, vanished, including a pack of direwolves that have been fighting them. As they're outnumbered and poorly equipped, the goblins have little chance against the wolves. Upon observing the enormous strength of Rimuru's Tempest aura, they ask for his assistance. After momentarily reflecting on his former life and his helplessness to refuse, Rimuru decides to assist the goblins in fending off the wolves. Episode 3. Rimuru engages the direwolves in combat with the goblins, kills their commander, and compels the direwolves to submit. Rimuru gives everyone names after persuading the goblins and direwolves to coexist peacefully, but after using all of his remaining power, he falls asleep for 3 days. When he awakens, he finds that the goblins and direwolves he named have all undergone evolutionary change. Rimuru and a small party travel to the village of Dwargon to ask for assistance from the dwarf craftsman after realizing that the goblins lack the ability to make dwellings and clothing. Episode 4. When Rimuru and Gabata the goblin arrive in Dwargon, they end up fighting some thugs and being imprisoned. After giving the guards some remedies, Rimuru is ultimately let go and meets Kajin the blacksmith. In return for Kajin's assistance in providing craftsmen for the goblin hamlet, Rimuru helps Kajin complete an order for longswords using the magisteel ore he had collected in the tunnels. At the elf pub where Rimuru and the dwarves are celebrating, a person comes closer. Episode 5. A fortune-telling elf makes a decision to foretell Rimuru's future and shows him a vision of a girl leaving her home. When Vesta, the minister who placed the order for the sword, shows up and belittles Rimuru, Kajin attacks him out of rage, which leads to the arrest of both him and Rimuru, as well as the other dwarves in their subsequent trial. Kajin and his men are exiled during the trial by the hero king, Gazelle Dwargo, who had a previous relationship with Kajin. Kajin's men thereafter work as craftsmen for Rimuru. Gazelle sends a ninja to pursue Rimuru after discovering his links to Veldora and banishing Vesta for his dishonest behavior. Episode 6. While Rimuru is still there, one of the bar elves offers to read his destiny to discover the person he will meet in the future. Rimuru is shown a glimpse of a mother and 5 children in the crystal ball, which makes him question who they are. At around the same moment, Vesta, a local minister, speaks up and asks Kajin what he's doing there when he should be attempting to finish his order. The noble is shocked when Kajin reveals that he's already made all 20 of the longswords he was required to make. Vesta decides to swiftly shift the subject and says, "I'm more worried that a lowly scum has been led into such a high-class place," before venting his resentment by pouring a mug of beer on Rimuru. Vesta's rude actions have Kajin completely incensed and he strikes him in the face. Rimuru first worries that Kajin and the pub may get into difficulty because of this. Rimuru requests that Kajin take him to the village so that he may fulfill Rimuru's request for an artisan. Unfortunately, Kajin's brother Kado is compelled to detain the 5 characters, 4 dwarves, 1 slime, while they await trial. When Rimuru returns to the prison, he discovers that Gobta is still asleep and chained up in his cell. The sleeping goblin is awakened by Rimuru, who tells him that in order to escape his silken prison, he must call upon his Tempest wolf. Kajin expresses regret for his actions and informs Rimuru of his relationship with Vesta. Vesta serves as Kajin's assistant while he was first a captain of one of the 7 orders of royal knights under the leadership of King Dazzle Dwargo. Unfortunately, one of Vesta's initiatives, the Magi Soldier Project, catastrophically failed one day as a result of Vesta's hurry, and Vesta forced Kajin to quit by placing the responsibility on Kajin. Since then, Vesta has made the dwarfsmith a series of outrageous requests in an effort to get him into trouble. The dwarf wants to work with Rimuru, even though Kajin maintains that Vesta isn't a nasty person at heart and that he could be better off without Kajin. The 3 brothers also aim to follow Kajin while working for Rimuru. The 5 are brought before the judge the next day and swiftly learn that their trial has been fixed. The 5 cannot talk until they are spoken to, so their attorney speaks in their place. He makes it quite plain that he's already written their confessions. Vesta, on the other hand, has grossly exaggerated his wounds and gathered eyewitness accounts claiming that Kajin and associates attacked Vesta while he was mid-drinking. However, before the 5 can give their sentences, Gazelle asks Kajin whether he ever plans to return to work for him. Kajin replies that he doesn't. The 1 slime and the 4 dwarves are exiled, never to return to the city. Vesta and the king are alone, and the king asks Vesta if he has anything he would want to say to him before he too is exiled. Gazelle admits that he was aware of the true cause of the Magi Soldier failure all along, but hid it out of respect for Vesta, and now his pranks have gone beyond their bounds. The Hippogote grass potions that Rimuru developed are superior to those they can make, according to Gazelle, and as a result of Vesta, all of their connections have been severed by that slime. Vesta is afterwards congratulated for his devotion and brought away from the palace, never to return, his ambition of one day serving the king having been completely crushed. The king watches as the brothers Kajin and Kado bid each other farewell. Recognizing Rimuru as a threat on par with the lost Veldora, he orders an elf assassin to kill the lawyer and then dispatches her to spy on him. And that concludes my recap for That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime series, from Season 1 of Episodes 1 to 6. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, Anime with Annie, for more such exciting anime content and reviews. And please leave comments about what you thought of today's video. And remember, have an Annie-mazing day.